Hello, this is Mark. Tape 6, 7?
I think 7.
Yeah, 7. But I want to say something. So many people have been watching and some of my friends asking, it seems like you're just dropping tidbits about what you believe. Exactly. I'm dropping tidbits because we want to make these short and sweet, but trust me, I believe a whole lot more than what I'm talking about. But we want to make these short and sweet and time frame very specific, straight to the point to make you seek God, make you think more, and make you research what's being said. Don't take it for me and my word. You ask God. You wait for his answer. And very interesting today, I was reading in Habakkuk chapter 1. And I haven't read off the Bible to you here, but I will because it has a very interesting God reply in our time, for our time. And I'm telling you, things are about to break loose that will shock us for the good and the bad. But here's Habakkuk crying out to the Lord. "O Lord, how long shall I cry and you will not hear? Even cry out to you violence and you will not save. Why do you have to show me iniquity and cause me to see trouble? Plundering and violence are before me. There is strife, contention arises. Therefore the law is powerless." You know, right now, tonight we're speaking and the convoy goes by Kitchener tomorrow morning on their way to Ottawa. For your rights, they're fighting. But what I like about it, it's a whole bunch of people, not politicians, not a group, but a whole bunch of groups got together, and they're doing this as one, as the Canadians are on the overpasses, joining everywhere. Let us be one, because God said our land is glorious from what? East to west, north to south. It's high-flying times the Canadians arise and do something. Protect your Constitution. It's your right. Men and women have fought in the war for your right, your Constitution. But let's hear an answer here. There's strife and contention arise. Sounds familiar? Absolutely. Therefore, the law is powerless. Justice goes forth for the wicked around the righteous. Yeah. And there is perverse judgment proceeds. God's reply. This is very interesting because it's for our time and it's about to happen. Look among the nations and watch. Be utterly astounded. God says, watch what I do. For I will work a work in your days which you would not believe, though I were to tell you. Indeed, I am raising up Chaldeans with a bitter, nasty nation, which marched through the breadth of the earth. Wow, ain't that interesting? God proclaims, watch me do something, and there's a scripture that always comes to mind. It says, when the enemy comes in like a flood, God raises a standard against it, and he's been very quiet. But he gave us the word. I'm going to do something in your time. If I told you in advance, you wouldn't believe me. You know what the problem with most believers? They don't believe God. So he tells us, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. So what's the sense? I'm just going to do what I'm going to do, regardless of what you think. He's separating the sheep and the goats, the religious from the few that are really seeking and starting to come alive. And trust me, it's not everybody in the church. There's people coming alive that I didn't expect would come alive in this pandemic fake. Call it what you want. It is fake. But watch when God moves. His glory will fill the earth. Nobody can stop God. Even though the Russians are on the border of Ukraine, threatening war. I believe that war will happen, unfortunately. The Chinese flying planes over Taiwan. I won't call them what I think. The North Korean forever sending missiles over South Korea and towards Japan. Something's going to break out. But I believe it's all spoken about in the Bible. The thing that concerns me is it talks about Russia, Ezekiel 38, 37, 39. Read it for yourself. It talks about the 200 million man army. I think we'd all claim that's China. But very inscriptly, where's the U.S. in all this? Good question. We'll leave it at that. Some of you might have the answer. That's good. But the whole point is this. Something is about to happen. And are you ready? Are you on the side of the naysayers in fear? Or are you the two who God sent in the promised land who came back with a good report? And they had to wait till everybody else died off before. Picture this. You had to wait 40 years for all these people to die off. You're now 86 years old, and you've been thinking about this big, huge piece of field for so many years. And by the time you get there, it's like, this is my field, boy. You're out of here. And they basically took everybody out of that field. Very interesting. Some of us have been sitting on words that God gave us, ministry gifts, waiting, almost to the point where it's almost like, relax. But I came across a scripture in Isaiah that really made me think. When the plague hits, set yourself aside and seek me, because when it's over, I'll need you. But are we really ready? Some of us, religious formats are being wiped away from us. Things that we were taught, motivations that we had to do, the little rat heel wheel, gotta do. Flew us off because we didn't fit in their mold. That's great, awesome. Here's my thought and my prayer. Are you firmly ready to serve the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and give your mind, heart, and soul for the one who died for you? And ask him for a revelation of Christ in you, the hope of glory. But not only that, him in you, but you seated in heavenly places, and that's another topic we'll touch about in the future. If you're seated in heavenly places with Christ, far above, it says principalities and powers. We'll leave that question for the next one. Be blessed. I'm Mark. Are you asking God some serious questions? If not, you definitely need to start. Thank you for listening to me. I'm the Christian Link, and we're serving him in the weirdest, most awesome time, even though it doesn't seem like it. The apostles wanted to live in our time. Thinking, why? They must have knew something that we don't know. Like God said, I'm about to do something, and if I told you in advance, you wouldn't believe me. But here's another question. If you're stuck in religion, you won't see it, because you're following a man instead of Christ. There's my point. Right back to the basics, right back to the first session. Follow Christ, not religion. Be blessed.